I took a leap. Whitefish, Montana, I fell in love with. I was like, I haven't retired yet. My investments haven't panned out completely. But there was this small little store on Main Street, Purple Pomegranate, and the owner was wanting to retire. So I bought it. We have quick attention spans and we're very cynical. So anytime somebody comes across as being too positive, working with too much gratitude, doing all those things, our minds quickly start to pick apart and discredit. And I get that. That's something that I've done before. I've come to realize that whenever I do it, it's not a beneficial mindset, but nonetheless, I still do it. So I want to talk about adversity and how having a positive outlook can see you through whatever adversity you have. As it relates to this snowboard channel, I'm trying to make content, trying to make the most positive, the best content I can make. And fortunately, it started to resonate. But it's very weird making snowboard related content, and I haven't touched snow yet. And I know a lot of you guys out there are thinking about the same thing. And I'm in the Northeast, and I'm gonna tell you, going snowboarding before Thanksgiving is or was always like a hit or miss thing. Thanksgiving is come and gone, so I can't keep saying that. But nonetheless, I haven't been on snow yet. And I have some pretty nice trips planned this year. Going to Japan in January, and I'm taking my girlfriend to Mount Tremblant in Canada for my 50th birthday. So I have a lot of time that's going to be on the snow there. Not sure how I'm going to be able to weave content into both of those. I'm definitely going to try to make some content when I'm in Japan because it's an opportunity that can't be missed. But nonetheless, I haven't been on snow. And there are some mountains open. And this is where I'm going to say the adversity comes in, because I've owned a 4-wheel camper for, I don't know, 9 years now. And anyone who knows anything about pop-up truck campers, 4-wheel campers are some of the best on the market. A lot of tech stuffed into a small package. Pops up, you can put it on a mid-sized truck. It's got a queen-size bed, refrigerator, stove, bathroom, heater, and it'd be perfect for, parking lot base camp. But my truck went down about 2 years ago, and that camper has just been sitting in the garage or sitting in the driveway. And I keep thinking, do I want to buy another truck for it? Do I want to put it on the road? Do I want to get out there? And with making this content, it would be perfect. And it would help grow the channel. It would help bring engagement. It would put me on the snow more. But the thing is, that money that would go to buying that camper is being invested because I'm trying to purchase a house in a ski town. I'm trying to buy a house in the Stowe, Vermont area. And that's been my goal and my game plan for kind of the last 10 years. Created a little small side business that was funneling money into investments. Wanted to retire early from the fire department. And I had that plan for a 10-year span. I was searching the country for where I wanted to go, where I wanted to live. I came across this little place in Montana called Whitefish, and when I found it, I fell in love with it. It was what I thought Colorado towns were maybe 10, 15 years ago, and it still had real estate that you could get in relatively inexpensively. So that was my plan. I had looked in Utah, wanted to go to the Ogden area where basically Powder Mountain is, but Whitefish, Montana, I fell in love with. We went several years in a row, back to back, started to get a little bit of a feel for the place, and I took a leap. I was like, I haven't retired yet. My investments haven't panned out completely, but there was this small little store on Main Street. If anyone's been to Whitefish, it was the Purple Pomegranate. And the owner was wanting to retire. She wanted to sell the store. So I bought it. And I was sitting in Montana, signing paperwork to take over this store in February 2019. That was some really good timing. So I bought the store. COVID happened. I had 2 employees. I kept them on payroll. I was living in Boston. The store wasn't open. I was paying their salary. It wasn't a big salary. We negotiated something relatively modest, but it was still putting money in their pocket. It was still keeping employees that could help me do things on the back end of the store while I was here. And I just thought it was a good thing to do. And that was a solid plan for me. Leap and figure it out as you're on that journey. But what happened that was the bigger hurdle, it wasn't the COVID, it wasn't paying the employees, it was how everybody that had money coastally wanted to live country, mountains, nature, and all that money that could sell something in Cali for $2 million and buy something in Montana for $600,000 and buy another $600,000 that could straight be an investment. That tiny little area, all of that real estate got bought up. And there were some developments being put in, but I'm not moving from the city to go to Montana to live in a cookie cutter neighborhood where every third house is the same color. That's not that dream of living in the mountains and being in a ski town. That just wasn't what it was. So to make a long story short, the houses went from being able to buy something around $400,000 and be okay, doesn't have everything you want, being able to buy something at $500,000 and you're getting there. And if you could stretch it to 6, you got just about whatever you wanted. You got a nice house, decent shape, a couple acres of land, 15 minutes from the mountain. That was perfect. Those numbers are well within the scope of my 10-year time horizon. But over the course of 2 years, the housing market there virtually doubled. So anything that you were getting for around 4 was now around 9. You're coming in close to $1 million. Okay, that's what it is. That is what it is. But also, there wasn't a lot of stock. So now, those things for 6 that are now 9 aren't even there. And that was the nail in the coffin to the Montana side. So I decided the prices are going to be around the same, and I'll just do that same plan, but I'll bring it closer to home. I'll bring it to Vermont. I'll do it in Stowe. Prices are still around $1 million to get what you want, but there are so few people in that Vermont area that there's still a decent amount of stock. There's still houses that you can buy. And if you want to be more than 20 minutes from the mountain, there's definitely houses you can buy. So all that to say, the life that I'm trying to portray is far from perfect. It's a life that has had a lot of accomplishments, a lot of success. I've got many things that I've checked off, but I'm never going to try to come across as perfect. I'm never going to try to come across as I had very little adversity, because I have. I just don't see it as something that stops you. Like, do what you need to do, figure out a plan, and make it happen. And there's not anything, any outside forces that stop you, or at least stop me from getting any of the things that I ever wanted. If I hadn't gotten them, it's because I hadn't figured out a way to actually make them work. I haven't figured out a way to make it happen, or I personally stopped before I figured out a way to make it happen. Maybe it was because the plan wasn't worth doing anymore, Or maybe it was because the energy was better served towards another plan. But all that to say is, when you see me talking about positivity, talking about how skiing has the ski industry and snowboarding, because I mostly snowboard, how that has affected me and pushed me in a positive direction. It's stories like that that are at the heart and the driving force. Because the last 10 years of my life, and honestly, probably the last 20 years of my life, seeking what I finally figured out and condensed to a 10-year plan, was to live in the mountains, to live where I want to recreate. Because going on long 4-hour trips or weekend vacations to those places, they just don't provide enough proximity effect to allow you to utilize them the way you want, to get good, to just have enough days on mountain, enough days on the snow. And that was what I decided to do. Haven't gotten there yet, still working that plan, but it's moving forward with adversity. And that's the message of this story. Don't let adversity stop you, because the only person that can ultimately shut you down is you. I'm Blair, and this is the Dirtbag Association, where our wax is old, our knees are older, but the stoke doesn't melt. I might post this. This was just a practice run of what I want to say in the video that's coming up, to let everyone see a little bit of my process. This is how I work it. I give it to the camera, I refine it, I break it down, and then I try to make it smoother and condense it. But a lot of times that first raw take is good enough. So I might be posting some of those also. So if you see dual videos or videos with the same concept, it's because I'm working through my process. And hopefully you don't mind and you'll stay along for the journey. So Blair from the Dirtbag Association, see you somewhere on the mountain.